Ladies and gentlemen, men and women, boys and girls, welcome to the most must-watch Baseway TV. My name is Vatican Kayembe, and this here is Power Talk Show. Yes, we have some power. If you notice, today we have got a new guest. The guest today is going to introduce himself, right? But before I start, I'm just going to say, do you see the topic there? It's a very empowering topic, isn't it? Why do you need positive thinking all the time? Why do you need positive thinking all the time? So this is a question that you're going to ask yourself through this show. Now, we're going to have, on my right hand side, I have Mark. Mark, welcome.
Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very much. And then now you're used to Sister Adeline. Welcome.
Yes, good to be here today.
Good to be here today.
Yes.
So, Mark, how are you, first of all?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you very much.
As a first time, how are you feeling? You're feeling okay to be with us today?
Listen, it's a privilege to be here, so thank you very much.
Good stuff. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like Mark to introduce himself. We're gonna give him 1 minute or 2 minutes. I don't know how much CV he's got. So, please, Mark, you can look at that camera there and give people this small briefing about yourself.
Okay, so I'm a manifestation coach. I show people how to bring into their lives everything they want. I've got 13,100 students around the world, 133 countries. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I did this is because I got myself into a massive amount of problems back in the end of 2014. My life descended into total chaos. I lost my 16-year marriage. I had health problems, I was depressed, I was financially seriously in debt, and everything that I did, it just went wrong. So I hit rock bottom, and I had to find out what it was that I was doing wrong to get it right. And then over the course of the last 4 years, I've solved everything that's been in my life has been a challenge. Mm-hmm. And then early this year, I took the knowledge that I've got, which is like learning from life and how the right things to do things, and I put them into digital courses. Mm-hmm. And then I've got all these students, if you like, around the world that watch everything that I do digitally.
Wow. You know what? That's at the end of the show, because he has said it all. Everything we need on this show, Mark has said it all. So that's it. Done. Thank you very much for coming. Okay. Now, we have got this big question we're going to ask ourselves. Why do we need to have a positive thinking all the time? Now, this is a question, Mark. I'm gonna ask you this question straight away. Look, I've wrote it here, and this is a question. Is it true? Is this true? They say that the misfortunes and the tragedies in life that we are experiencing may be brought about by our own actions, negative thinking, but we just don't realize it.
Well, the answer is absolutely yes.
Wow.
But the question you should be asking is why is it yes?
Why is it yes?
Well, because when we were born, we were given control over our lives. Mm-hmm. So we can choose to be, do and have anything that we want to be. But over the course of our lives, we give away that control. So, for example, we were given choice, right? It's one of the gifts that we were given when we were born. Mm-hmm. So you can choose what you want to be. Mm-hmm. So in life, you can only be one thing or another. So you can only be wet or dry. You can't be both. You can be happy or sad, but you can't be both. You can be healthy or you can be well, but you can't be both. You've got to be one or the other. But what people do during their lives, and this is what I did, and I see it with everybody, lots of people around me, is whether it's relationships, finances, health, they give away that control to other people. So they've got less control over their lives. So what happens in their lives is they start to struggle. Bad things happen, we make bad decisions, and so we lose some of that confidence that we should have, and because we lose that confidence, the decisions we make are lacking in the strength that they should be. So what happens is, instead of focusing on the positive stuff, we start focusing on negative things. And because we're focusing on negative things, it's a choice. Do I focus on good things or bad things? And because we're focusing on bad things, we then start to attract in more of what we're focusing on. And so our lives then become more of what we don't want them to be.
Okay, so you're talking about the law of attraction there.
That's got a big part to play in it, yes.
Okay. Now, what do you think we tend to, you said as we grow, we are losing control
yes.
of our choice, of the choice that we had to become whoever we wanted to be.
Correct.
So why is that we, as we grow and we are losing that choice? What's the cause of that?
Well, it's three things, in fact, right?
Okay.
One, we didn't know that we were in control in the first place. Okay? So, did you know you're in control of your life?
I don't know.
It's either yes or no, right? It's either yes or no. You know,
It's a hard question to ask.
it's either yes or no. You
It's
either
very
you can-
simple.
Okay, you give us the answer.
Yes.
Did you know that you're in control of your life?
I did it from the start.
you-
But I did know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, when did you know that you're in control of your life?
5 years ago. Yeah,
How old are
I'm
you
in
now?
control.
Shh, don't say.
Secret.
Right, okay. I can assume let's assume you are 25, right?
Yes.
That's me trying to be nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Good compliment.
25. So all these 20 years you did not know if you were in control of your life or
No,
not. You just
no.
realized it 5 years ago.
Yes.
That's very bad.
Very bad. Because
So
you're losing your confidence, like Mark said.
so Mark, you said you asking me a question. Did I
Yeah.
know? The honest answer is I don't know.
Right. But you do now.
Okay.
But it's your choice as to whether you want to stay in control or not. So, for example, you can be in relationships, and this is like my own personal experience, was I became a square peg in a round hole. So to keep that relationship going, I became more of what the other person wanted me to be. So I gave control over myself away to the other person
Yeah.
to keep that relationship with my kids going. So I became less of who I was. You can go to the doctors, for example, right? And you can, if they say, well, we're going to give you these pills, but you could have a choice as to whether you go and find a holistic solution to make yourself healthier, or you take the pills. So people that are on depression, right? There's millions around the world. Do you need to take the pills, or can you find something that's going to make you exciting, that's going to improve your life? So when you go to the doctors and they say, Rob, we're going to give you these more pills, you're giving an aspect of the control over your health away to somebody else.
Okay. So now, why? Now we can now go just to the question now straight away. As after you've said that all. So now, why do we need a positive mind, positive thinking all the time then?
Right. Can I answer this the other way around?
Okay,
Because
go
what I find is that most people don't understand how life works. And
Okay.
I've got an understanding. I know a lot of it about it, but not all of it.
Okay.
And so can we play a game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Go.
So instead of looking at this,
It's not a
from-
difficult one.
No, it's a very easy one,
Oh,
right?
Very good. I like
Right.
the easy one.
So,
It's simple.
So what we're going to do, instead of looking at life in terms of why do we need positivity, let's just ignore positivity altogether.
Okay.
And let's just pretend our lives were really negative, right? Because this is how when my problems got worse and worse and worse, I got more and more negative.
Okay.
All right, so if we ignore the fact that we're going to try and be positive, so when your lives become really negative, you start saying things like, oh, I was born unlucky. You know, nothing good happens in my life. You know, and I'm going to go for this job interview. I'm never going to get this job interview. You know, and the boss hates me and people talk behind my back and I'm never going to get the money to do this. And our lives then become more and more negative.
Okay.
But the challenge with that is, I don't know if you want to add any more negativity in here, because we're all going to be negative together.
Yes.
Okay.
For example, Vatican don't like me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
he
that's
doesn't
not
like me either.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, I
Is the
did
game
that.
on already?
Okay.
Is it on already?
Game on.
I think I'm left behind then.
But what happens in our lives is, and this is partly down to kind of law of attraction.
Yeah.
So the words that we use, because they're emotion based, produce energy. So people talk about our world being expanding all the time. It's
Yeah.
because every time we have an emotion, it's another form of energy. But that energy can never be destroyed. It's got to go somewhere. So it's either got to go towards something positive, or it's got to go something towards negative. It's one thing or another. So when you start having all these bad thoughts, these negative thoughts, what are you going to do with them? You know, you're going to turn them into something positive. Well, most people fire them into something negative. So what happens is you have a negative thought that says, I don't know, you know, Vatican hates me, right? I know he hates me, right? I know people hate me. And you know, this is why I get all these bad comments. And so what happens is it's like a kind of like an ice cream cone. And you start to go down and down and down. You have more negative thoughts. But the more negative thoughts you have, the more things that come into your life that reflect those thoughts. And then what you go is, I told you. I told you didn't like me. You know, I told you that I was unlucky. I was never going to get that job. And then it reaffirms, answering your first question, everything that you believe you are creating. And then you go down and down and down and down. And then what happens is, life, then you start sitting here, and then things start getting difficult, and then life kind of sucks you down and down. So you end up coming down and down, and life's pushing you down and down. So you end up down here, and then you hit rock bottom. Exactly. And that's what happened to me. You get down to a point, and it's so low down here that you can only go one of two ways. You can either go, I've had enough and I want to leave, or you say, no, I'm going to bounce back. And then you start saying, well, I'm going to take this negativity, I'm going to turn it into something positive.
Yeah.
So you then start coming back up again. And then you start saying, right, I'm going to put all of that into something good. And you start having positive thoughts, you exchange them. So like the one thing that I found, and I've never seen this, anyone's actually really kind of written about it properly, is that one of the conditions that you have in life, right, to lead a really successful life, is you've got to be excited.
Okay.
About different aspects of your life.
Aye. But sometimes it's quite hard to measure how successful it can be measured when you mention success. But before you say that, is the game still on?
Yes, but now we're going back up again.
Okay. Just a second, I tell the people, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mark. You can tell, like, even myself, sometimes I don't know what to ask because I'm so interested to what he's saying. It's really something deep. But I want you to really, really pay attention. But if you have a contribution to this show, to this topic, why do we need positive thinking all the time? Please, our number is right there. You can call us. We are live, 074-5921-3060. Please call us and give us your contribution, or you can simply ask Mark a question, because actually he's the star of the show today.
Yes.
So Mark, go on. Right, so
Bring it all in.
So what we've now done is we know that our words are energy. We know we can either make them into negative things or positive things. So, and you know that one of the kind of key things that you've got to be is excited in your life. Because what the excited does is, I never talk about religion. All I talk about is whether it's a universe or the creator, or, because everybody's got their own different beliefs.
Yes.
But what we've got is we've got a physical world, which is us, and then we've got a non-physical world, which is the kind of spiritual world.
Okay. So do you live in a spiritual world then?
Oh, totally. Yes.
So how is that linked to positive mind and negative? What does it do to our life? Because not many people, they believe in a spiritual world.
Because the spiritual world, and I used to jump into things in the past and go, oh, that's a great idea, that's a belief, but now I test everything. Right, so this is why I specialize in manifestation, because manifestation is the ability to be able to think of something and it happens. So I could think about Adeline, and then suddenly the next call I get in
is Adeline.
Not all the time, but some of the time.
Yes.
And it's how you then start to create things to happen in your life. So the spiritual world, however you want to represent it, wants us to lead more exciting lives. They want our lives to be better.
Okay.
And they want to help us. So the problem is, when you're negative, there are what I call doors. So we came through doors to get into this building, there's doors to go into the bank, there's doors everywhere to get anywhere in life. Well, for good things to come into our lives, these doors have to be open, right?
Okay.
And if we use negative words, we shut the doors. So we shut the opportunity for good stuff to come to us.
So what you're trying to say, Mark, more negative thoughts affects the spiritual world.
It stops the spiritual world from helping you.
How can someone believe that the spiritual world exists? Because most people go like, just the thinking, now you're talking about the spiritual. So how does it, the spiritual and the thinking links together?
They can test it. Because it's up to everyone what they want to believe at the end of the day. But if you start to switch your thoughts from things that are negative, that are shutting doors down, to things that are positive, that are opening the doors up, and good things start to come in, then what you should always do in life is ask questions. So you say, well, how am I now getting all these good things to come in? Where are these good things coming from? And it doesn't really matter what you believe in. If you can see them coming in, you can then start to identify with, maybe I created that to happen. You were given choice. We said this at the very beginning. You were given choice to lead the kind of life, to be, do, and have anything you want to do. And if you can suddenly see all these things coming into your life, you can say, well, I created that to happen. So I'm in charge of my life. what happens to be happening in the background is the spiritual world is like that. Oh, fantastic. What else can we do to help you? And more good things come in. So what happens is you start to get more and more excited about different aspects of your life.
Okay.
The more excited you are, the more doors that open up. The bigger the doors get. More good things come in, so you get more excited. More doors open up, more good stuff comes in. And then it's like this, we went down to rock bottom. Now you're going back up and up and up and up and up. And your life gets better.
So what you are saying, Mark, is like the negative thinking
Yep.
or the positive thinking, the only person, let me just put it that way,
Yeah.
the only person that is suffering the most from either one of them is your spiritual thing.
Yeah.
Let me just put it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
So therefore, if you affect your spiritual thinking, if you affect positive, if you feed your spiritual world with a positive thinking,
Yeah.
then every single door will be open in a
Yeah.
very good way.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's all about whether you start making conscious decisions in your life. You know, because I mean, what I'm showing people on my group is how they can think of things and they come in. So I say to people, how many thoughts, how many questions do you ask a day that would really help you? You know, so you might have a parcel being delivered by Amazon and it's going to come in 2 days, but you'd like it to come in 1 day because you're going to be in the house, but you're going to be out in 2 days. So you start thinking about what things would improve my life, how things could be better. And it's having those thoughts and then start to make you more consciously awake. You know, because most people are either asleep and they just go through life as if it's a daydream, or they're awake and saying, how can I make things better? How can I improve things?
Yeah.
And it's that ability to start to think and ask questions that puts you then back in control
Yeah.
of your life.
So you talked about in every single word that we say, there's
Yeah.
energy.
Yes.
You said word.
Yes.
And then also we're talking about thinking.
Yes, correct.
So it's because the process before you speak, there's something goes in your brain. So before you say a word, there's already energy at the back of your mind.
It's words, it's thoughts, it's actions, and it's intentions.
Okay.
All of those create energy, and that is why they say that our world is completely expanding all the time. So you know, there's no limit to how wonderful it can be, and there's no limit to how bad it can be, because every time we have a thought, which you're quite right, turns into a word, turns into an action. It could have been an intention. You're creating something to happen. So, for example, right, say something really bad happens and it really pees you off and you get really upset about it. What you can do is you can use that energy. If you think about, like, say, sports people, you know, that something bad's happened and they're going back out onto the court or the pitch, and they have a choice of either giving it, I'm going to lose this match, or they take that energy
I said, okay.
and they go, I'm going to use that, and I'm going to use it to drive myself forward, right? So it's something negative, but they've turned it into something positive, and then they go out and they've got a lot more energy, and the chances are they'll probably win.
Good stuff. No, I've got a.
I love
Your
that.
tea's getting
Very
cold,
empowering.
Mark. Your tea's getting cold.
It was too hot at the very beginning.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're having a good time with Mark here. Sister Adeline.
Yes.
Now, before I go to the audience, what do you think about what Mark is saying?
I love it. Every single word of it. It's very
Do
empowering.
you relate to anything he's saying?
Very much. 100%.
In what way?
Yes. I choose to be positive thinking. I choose to be a positive person because I'm in control of my life. So I want to be happy all the time. I don't want to be going to be, to be a negative. And I choose not to listen to other people out there who's going to interact your positive thinking while you're training.
So that's your choice.
Yeah, that's my
That's
choice.
your
So,
choice.
What Mark was saying, like, you take I think to understand what Mark is saying, like, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, okay.
What you're saying is, like, to be in control.
Yeah.
It's a very good thing.
Absolutely.
And to take your choice of your word and your thoughts.
Yes.
It's a very thing that we need to be careful of, and then really
Yes.
use it
Yes.
careful in order to attract only positive stuff in our life.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mark, and then we are getting good stuff. Can you not phone? Even to congratulate Mark if you think what he's saying is absolutely correct, or if you have a question, you can phone and Mark will be able to answer. Sister Adeline, you had that book. What was the name of your book again?
Oh,
Power
Holding On
of Imagination.
Yes.
Am I wrong? No, I'm right.
You're right. No, holding on to your vision, let me correct you there.
See?
This is your other book.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Well, maybe I'm trying to create a book here.
Yeah, you are.
Like holding on to your vision.
Yes.
And it's kind of, I think, Mark, people, they're going to ask themselves, see the spiritual thing that you mentioned, it's kind of a bit difficult for some people to just like say like, how am I going to know that there's a spiritual, like, being me, like another spiritual that is part of my life, that I need to feed that spiritual person with positive thinking. So it's kind of a bit difficult. So you're trying to tell us it's just matter of belief?
I'll give you a direct comparison, right?
Okay.
Let's say you were moving house and you needed some help from a friend, and you phone them up and say, can you come around and give me a day moving house? And they come around and give you a day. And then 2 days later, you need all your boxes emptied. And you phone them up and say, can you give me another day emptying boxes? No, I've already given you a day, or I'll give you another day. And then you go into the garden and it's all full of weeds. And then you phone them up again and say, can you come and give me a day chopping down all the bits and pieces?
Mm-hmm.
Your friend by that point is going to go, oh, really? Have you got no other friends? But what happens is the spiritual world works the other way around. And when you ask them for help, they will give you the help, right? You just need to allow it to come in, which is where being excited about different aspects of your life.
And now the question is like, how do I allow? Is that not crazy for just a person like me say, okay, look, I can imagine I need, for example, to be successful at school or college.
Yes.
And then now I need to ask the spiritual world to help me.
You don't have to. What I'm saying is that the spiritual world wants to.
Want to.
Right? So you
And how do I open the door?
By being excited about different things in your life. So if I said to you, what makes you excited? What would you tell me? In
A lot of
life.
things. Money,
Okay?
knowledge
Right?
about things around me, and probably what we are doing here is what
Okay.
excites me the most as well.
What about small things?
Food.
Butterflies? Sunrise?
Well, yeah.
There are so many things, but what happens is when you ask people,
But sometimes we don't take our time to meditate on those things.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, because we could have like maybe finished this show,
yeah,
and then I wouldn't have mentioned butterfly or sun, but I know it's things that when the sun is shining, everybody will be like, wow, today's nice.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mention here because I don't concentrate on those stuff.
yeah. But we got to remember is different cultures have different thoughts. So Glaswegians are different from people from
Africa.
Congo, right?
Mhm.
From Africa. So they can be more focused on what's missing in my life, you know, where have I got problems, And people's focus can either be on good things that make them excited or the things that are missing. And the problem is, it goes back to this choice thing. What are you focusing on? And if you're seeing more things that are causing you problems, this negative thing, right, and issues, then you're going to close all these doors down. Whereas if your life's more like, this makes me excited, I'm going to have a coffee with a friend tomorrow, and you feel excited, then you see things coming in. Your original question was, how does that work with the spiritual world? So something you see good stuff coming in, you can either go, I've created that.
Yeah, so it's a matter of belief.
It's a matter of belief, but because you're seeing good things come in, and then you get a bit more positive, and you get a bit more excited, you see a few more things coming in, you're like, okay, I'm seeing more things coming in. Why are they coming in? And that's the point, is you're getting, whether you want to accept it or not, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
You're getting all that help.
Now I'm going to ask you this question now.
Yeah.
In a big way now.
Okay, go for it.
Why do we need positive mind all the time? In a clear way, because you answered in a very, very, it's like kind of statement.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now I want to like, maybe, we have different people that they're watching.
Yeah.
And different people with a way of reasoning. But we want like specific answer in a very short way. Why do we need positive mind, positive thinking all the time? I mean, all the time.
Well, because you have a choice. You can either have an exciting life that's full of abundance and people and relationships and everything that would, that makes your life full of value, or you can have a life that's the complete opposite.
Okay.
And it's a nightmare.
Okay.
So why do you need it? It's because you either have that or you have that.
So if you have a positive thinking,
Yep.
you attract good stuff. Is that exactly what you're saying?
Correct.
So therefore, you got the answers for that question. Now I've got a question again.
Yeah.
Sister Adeline,
Yes. No, bring Mark first.
bring Mark first.
Mark.
I just call your name. I didn't say a thing.
That's
Is that
okay.
wrong to call your name?
No, no.
All right, okay. Mark, what is the impact of positive thinking in our life?
What do you want the impact to be?
Yes.
That's that's the answer. Is what do you want the impact
Oh my
to
goodness.
be? No, because
That's okay.
you've asked me a question.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be different for everybody.
Right.
Some people might want it to do with relationships. Some people might to do with their health. Some people to do with their money. It might be all of those.
So it
things.
comes back to choice again?
It comes. Yeah, what would you want it for? What do you want it for? You know,
There's only one
you
choice.
can have it for all of them, or some of them, or you can change it around. It's that positive impact is what you want it to be, and for all of us, it's different. If you just come out of a bad relationship, you might want that positive impact to find someone that you can love as much as they love you. You know, it might be because you want to get a job that you enjoy as much as all the money that it pays you. It's different for everybody, and this is why we're all individual.
Yes.
Positive impact is what do you want it? What do you want it for? I'm giving you, you know, it's like you've been given all this choice and this ability to be, do, and have, but what are you going to do with it? And that is different for every one of us. It's different. Exactly what you want to do with it. It's entirely up to you. But people don't know what they want.
Okay, I've got a really personal question.
Yeah. Is it to do with tea?
No, not to do with the. It's to do with your introduction.
Okay.
Now, from your introduction, I got a question from that. But before I say that, I need to
Yeah.
ask people, ladies and gentlemen, please call our number is right there. You can see like we are excited. The topic is so really exciting, and what Mark is telling us, everything that we are saying here about why do we need positive thinking all the time, it comes down to choice. And then when you choose correctly, then you attract positive things in your life.
Big time.
Big time.
Yes.
Now, Mark, when did you realize that the reason why I'm hitting rock bottom is because I have a bad thought, I have negative thinking?
Well, prior to hitting rock bottom, which was 2015, right, 19th of January 2015.
Right. Oh, you still remember the date?
Yeah, I did, because I made a big decision on that day.
How did you come to make that decision?
Because my life, because prior to that, or I don't know, the 7-10 years prior to that,
Right.
I'd been studying everything I could about personal development.
Okay.
But my life was getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and I was going down and down and down. So I thought I was an expert on everything, but I was getting it all wrong. So what was I doing wrong? So this was my journey, and I got to this point where it just felt that it couldn't get any worse. You know, health problems, depression, well, mental health, finances, the whole lot. It all just kind of like boom. And so I turned around and said, I need to now start to learn to undo the mistakes I was making. But what were my mistakes? So the first thing I decided, because I worked for myself, was rather than trying to make money, right, which is hard work because you've got to go out and do all these things, I would try and find a way that it would come to me.
Okay.
Right.
And how did you do it?
I changed the words that I used. So in other words, so in part of everything that I do, I show people how to go from, right, okay, this is the way to describe this, right?
Okay.
Imagine a water line. So below the water line, you're drowning, right? Life's crap,
Yeah.
right? You're living in fear, you're worrying about this, you're worrying about that. This is a problem, that's a problem, right? You're going down and down and down and down and down.
Until you sink.
You're literally, you're physically drowning. And above this line is what I call the place that it's excited.
Okay.
It's great, you're in the fresh air, it's all full of fun. But our lives go like this. They go, oh, they're exciting, and then I've got a problem, and then I go up, and then I go down. So emotionally, you're all over the place. But my life was going down and down and down and down and down here. So what I then started to create was techniques, things that made me feel better. I'm talking about 20 seconds. Things I could say in 20 seconds that gave me control back over my life. Right? This is what I show people how to do. That can take in 20 seconds from down here, where it's like, my head and my eyes are so sore that I'm in so much pain and I hate my life, to bang, being up here. And when you're up there and you're feeling really good, you've got a choice. Do you stay there or do you go back down there? What will happen is things will come along that are going to drag you back down. When they do, you've got a choice. Do you stay down there or do you go back up again? But you can do it in 20 seconds. Right? And so life then becomes a choice, because you're like, do I want to feel crap? Do I want to feel good? What do I want to feel? And it becomes a choice, right? You make a choice. So there are techniques that I use. I've got probably about 6 that are just designed, and I create them for myself primarily, that take you from this place of like, oh God, life is just awful down here, to being up here.
What triggered you to actually realize that I need to take this big decision?
I was rock bottom. I couldn't go any further.
That was it.
That was it. You know, like for the 3 years prior to that, I never knew whether at Christmas time would be my last Christmas with my kids. And so I was in a relationship that was going wrong. And every Christmas, I really thanked everybody I could for still being in the same house with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept my life going and going and going. But I kept on making more and more mistakes, so my financial problems were getting bigger. So by the end of 2014, I was 3 months behind with my mortgage, with my rent, my credit cards, my energy bills. Right? I had no money. I was going, everything was maxed out. There was nowhere I could go. Right? I was at bottom.
So is the money coming your way now?
Yes. I repaid all my debts.
Uh-huh.
And I've attracted in, I don't know.
Did you not buy a brand new car as well?
Oh no, I bought 3.
Or 3?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Here's a secret. Or you're talking about now? It's like I feel like I need to talk about the secret book.
Yes.
The secret. Now you're giving us the secret of how to attract like good things, success in our life is to get the choice right, and then use positive words and positive thoughts, positive intentions.
And stay excited.
And
That's
stay
what you need,
excited.
Yeah. That's all the secret.
But you need to start doing. You know, it's some action that you do on a show. You need to be careful. Stay excited. You know.
You're busted. Careful.
It might mean anything else. You know, like people can interpret it a different way. Stay excited. Right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I was just cracking a joke there.
Yes.
This is really wonderful. It's really wonderful. I think it's for people out there to realize how much you've given us today, and they give us a call, whether to contribute or ask a question. Our line is open. I don't know why you're not phoning, or you're just sitting there and listening, and the Mark still have a lot to give us.
Yes.
Now we only have another 10 minutes to go because we passed our time, because this is so wonderful. We're getting quite long, and I'm definitely, personally, I'm loving it, and I'm learning quite a lot as well.
I couldn't say anything else because I'm just happy just to listen to
Mark.
Very powerful words.
I think a lot of people, they'll probably be happy as well just to listen to you instead of interrupting, calling, making calls, and just listen to you. Now, where do we go from here after this show? While we're talking about why do we need, compared to your, like, what are you going to give us advice today for someone who is always negative, always thinking about, like, after watching this show, what do you want them to do in terms of that question there?
We can do one of 2 things, right? Because thought came into my head. They can either find and make a list of everything that makes them excited.
Okay.
Right?
Right,
So
okay. Slowly.
I'm excited.
Make a list
about,
of everything that makes you excited.
Yes.
Number 2.
What is it you want out of life, in life? People don't know.
Out of life and in life.
Well, right. It's really kind of one question. What do you want from life?
Okay.
What do you want your life to be like?
Okay.
Describe it. You know,
Okay.
what do you want your life to be like? I mean, you know, in terms of relationships, you know, love, money, jobs. How do you want to feel? Can you define it? Can you write it down? Define this perfect life. It's hard until you do it. And then you'll find you add more and more to it. You know, so do you want to have loads of money coming in, but you only want to work 2 hours a day? You know, start to create something that sounds really incredible.
Now, Mark, there's a question that is coming up from my mind now. There's a certain negative things that come in our life.
Yes.
People, they may say it's natural.
It is, yes.
And then it's hard to go away from it. And then how do we turn it into a positive thing? It's already a bad one. No, it's not a choice. It's a natural thing that you don't choose. For example, death is not a choice. It's something that is going to happen to anyone in this world. And then how do you channel that to positive thinking, you know?
Well, what you can do is if you have a negative thought, you can replace it with a positive thought. So if you go, oh, that's never going to happen to me because I'm really unlucky, you can change that around and go, no, I'm in charge of my life. I am lucky. I was born lucky. So it's switching from one thing to another.
Yeah, but what if it happened? What if like you lose someone that you love the most?
Yes.
And how do you stay positive? How do you still think positively at that time? Like to change like we were saying, like to change the negative to positive. Use the negative energy to impact the positive side.
Some things are really hard to describe, or hard to explain. When you're talking about relationships and people passing over, but generally as a rule, things happen for a reason. Right, and you may not have reason. I was driving the car the other day and I was running late, so I was trying to get myself to a place quicker. And then I got onto the motorway, and then about 50 meters in front of me, there was a great big pile up of cars. There was 8 cars. Now, even though I wanted to be ahead, I was being held back. Had I got what I wanted, I'd have been the 9th car in a pile up on the M8.
Yeah,
right.
It's so impossible.
So things happen for the right reason. And I was running late and being held back, which stopped me from getting into an accident. But I didn't know that at the time.
Okay.
So good things happen. I tell you what, I'm also could do is if you have the community hall and you want to put on an event, right, to be able to take people from wherever they are to being excited and positive in their life, I'll give you an event.
Okay.
Right, especially a whole day, a half day, a workshop.
Okay.
That will change people. I'll give them the tools. I'll give them these techniques that I've spoken about, that they can do. I mean, there's one that I do with people, and it changes the whole energy in the room by putting them back in control of their life. Right? And it takes 20 seconds.
This is really important.
Yeah. And you only know because you do it, and you feel it, and you go, oh, God, that one exercise made me feel really good. It's in a choice.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is actually the end of our show. I believe you were satisfied with everything that we got from Mark. And me and Sister Adeline, we were just like jumping about.
Just happy to listen to it.
Listening to Mark was amazing. Now, I think, do you mind to come back?
I'd love to.
Wow.
I would love to.
And if you have a question after this show, because I believe some people they watch show late, and if you have a question, you can still write it. The question can still get to Mark. And if you have a contribution, because we are about to finish, I'm gonna give actually Mark another 3 minutes for him to wrap up the show in terms of exactly in a basically clear way, what do you need in order to stick to a good choice? Does it make sense?
Absolutely.
So, okay, should I turn around or just like stay there?
What did you tell the viewers? You're coming back on Sunday. How is that for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, how is that back
Okay.
again?
Yeah. I'm excited. I want to see Mark again.
Of course.
Like even like the reason why we do this show is number one, edify, inform, and educate. So right now we're not just educating the audience. I'm getting educated myself as well. So thank you very much again for coming.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So now, what do people need to stick to the good choice? Because it's easy to trip.
Yeah.
And you've got more to offer next week.
So what I would say is life's about choice, right? You can be, do and have anything that you want to be, but you first of all have to choose to make that decision. And so as I was describing earlier on, what you want to do is actually make some choices. What kind of life do you really want to have? How do you, and is it all about the big money? I mean, what does money get you? Is it freedom? Is it choice? Write down exactly the type of life that you want, define it. Because I ask people to do this, and they can't. They can't until they think about it, step back and go, do you know what? I'm going to do this. And you were born in control of your life. So whatever you write down, you can create, and it will come into your life. I'll guarantee it. I'll personally guarantee it, because all you've got to be is excited about different aspects of your life, and I'll give you the tools to do it. And then you can choose whether you want to be down here and it's negative and it's horrible and life's really tough, or you can choose to be up here where things are great, and it's just a choice at your end.
So positive thinking is your choice.
Yeah.
Positive thinking is a choice.
Absolutely, it's just a choice.
Now I've got a quick question. This is the last one.
Yeah.
I'm up there.
This is You know, I like, before we finish the show, I like to get a nail and get a hammer,
Yeah.
put it there, and then bang, close the coffin.
Do it.
Right? Right, okay.
Oh, I'm loving it today. You know, very powerful. Can you feel the excitement?
Obviously, yes. But this question is a powerful question I'm going to ask Mark. It's the same question, but I'm going to twist it around.
Do I have 1 or 2 sugars in my tea?
What's your-
It's 1.
How many did you have? 1.
1.
Yeah.
Mark, do we really need to have a positive mind all the time?
Do we need to have one?
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to have one. It's just more beneficial that it can be as positive as much of the time.
So what you're saying is we don't really need, but it's necessary.
Right. A set of scales. Okay. So on this side is negative. On this side is positive. Now, if your life is mostly negative, you're going to get mostly negative things come in. If it's mostly positive, it's going to be mostly positive things come in.
And
So
everybody
some-
wants good. So good
It's-
good is positive.
So you might be positive 60, 70%, negative 30%, but you've got more good things coming in. It's impossible to be 100%.
Okay, it's impossible.
It's impossible. You know, you need to be some kind of superpower for that. And it's this balance. So as long as you're positive more of the time.
That question there all the time is impossible.
Yeah. I
It's a
think so.
choice. I would say it's a choice.
I would say it's impossible to be positive all of the time. You can be it for most of the time, but the most is going to outweigh the small bits you're not, and you're going to get a ton of really good things come in. And anything that comes in, so what you can do is, it's a bit like, if you know how good you are at feeling good, and then you start getting these bits in here that make you feel bad, you can then start to deal with those individually. So the scales go from 55-45 to 60-40 to 70-30 to 80-20 to 90-10. Your life's amazing at this point.
Yes.
Because you're up here.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our show. Mark, thank you very much for
It's my
coming,
pleasure.
and we hope to see you again next week,
We
if
definitely
possible.
will.
Yes.
And not even if possible, I'm trying to do the application of everything that you preach to us. Right? Next week we'll see Mark again.
Yes.
How about that?
My pleasure.
Sister Lou, thank you very much.
I enjoyed
Ladies
that
and gentlemen, this is our show. We were talking about we're gonna change this question next week because Mark said it's impossible. Sister Lou, you're saying it's possible.
Yes, I call it a choice because if you don't want to be positive all the time, you're going to be
But
hitting the ground.
as I said, there's natural circumstances, you know.
Yes, there is, but if you can analyze the situation when it comes to negativity,
Yeah.
there's a reason for it behind.
But she could be right, Mark, because thinking, as you said, is a choice. Even if there's natural negative things that can happen to you, you can still choose to be positive all the time.
But those negative things have come in. So that you might be 90-10, but those 10% things have come in. That's not 100-0. But when those ones come in, you're quite right.
Yes.
You deal with those, and then it becomes 91-9,
Okay.
92-8. It gets better.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our show. You know what? My name is Vatican Kayembe, and this show is finished now. You did not get the chance to call, then fair enough. Maybe you phone next week.
So someone's calling you.
No.
That's-
This is a normal call. Since this is the end of the show, but what I'm gonna ask you, please, when you watch this show, share the show, and then comment. Give us your contribution even through our Facebook, Baseway TV. And if you go on YouTube, it's Power Talk Show YouTube. Subscribe and share and give us your comment. It's very necessary. So right now, I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen, goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.